So here's the thing. As a rule, I work mostly with intellectual groups. But today I have you. So here's the real thing. I'm a slow starter. So 5 minutes just doesn't happen. We'll give it a stick and see how it goes. We'll start with some data for the left brainers to keep them amused for a while. You know how it works in organizations. There are 3 types of employees. There are those who are engaged, some not so engaged, and some disengaged. You know the stats. You know what these mean. You know that the engaged people are those who are passionate about their jobs, and it shows in how they walk, talk, and sit. There are those who are not so engaged. These are the guys who check out twice a day. They check out before they check in, and they check out when they check in. And then there are those guys who are actively disengaged. They're unhappy with life, they want you to know it, and so they behave in ways consistent with that, which means that they destroy value. The stats are scary. You know the stats because you've seen this before. You know that the percentage of disengaged and actively disengaged people is just too scary to talk about. You realize that if you look at this, that 1 in 3 people are doing all the work, while 1 in 5 is busy undoing what they did in the first place. I spent the last 25 years working with corporate groups around the world trying to figure out why that is. You see, until we answer that question, nothing can change. Because here's the thing, Maslow was right. You see, certain things have to be in place before other things can happen. And the truth is that if your employees are not engaged, then the rest is for naught. I've surveyed tens of thousands of people, asking them to rate their lives on a scale of 1 to 10, where 1 sucks, 10 is awesome, 5 is getting by, and 8 is good enough. Now, I don't ask that question as simply as that. I ask it in a more complex way. And people tell me that this is how they feel about life in general. If that's true, then this is what you have to change before anything in your workplace will change. But there's some good news. You see that Frankl was right. You see, it is true that our primary drive in life is to seek purpose and meaning for our lives. You know that people are driven by doing work that is important. You know that people thrive on knowing that what they do is valuable. The truth is that your people want your organizations to succeed. Very often they're just not given the chance. We survey our clients around the globe. We ask them this question. So if the culture in your workplace was to become realistically as good as it could, what would that do for your bottom line improvement? The answer is astounding. The vast majority of employees tell us that they can produce between 50 and 80% more if it weren't for 2 things standing in their way: the boss and the culture. We can change both of those. One of the things I do is help organizations to change the culture. You see, here's the snag with culture. It's a paradox. Managers everywhere know that culture is important, but most admit they don't know how to manage it in simple and practical terms. And of the hundreds of organizations where I have sat in their boardrooms, I can tell you that I seldomly find an organization, hardly ever, that drives culture as a strategic intervention. And the reason is that they don't have the tools on hand with which to do it. Well, we fixed that. Together with my Australian business partner, Steve Simpson, we've created a concept called UGRs, Unwritten Ground Rules. It works. It's been 20 years in the making. Recent client is Barclays, who is rolling out our stuff across 26 countries. UGRs are people's perception of this is the way we do things around here. Those perceptions become their reality, and it drives your results. Changing culture is not that complicated if you know how, because you can figure out the type of culture you want, understand the existing prevailing unwritten ground rules, change those perceptions, and get people to behave in ways that are completely different. So this is like a metaphor. Okay, never mind. So we've taken a very small bite out of this bigger, complex thing. Leave you with a short story from one of my inspirational, motivational talks that helps individuals to understand that they can do more, be more, and have more at home, work, and play. That it's not easy, but that it can happen. So that the traveler who was lost goes to the wise man. He says, wise man, tell me, how are the people over there? Why, says the wise man. Traveler says, because I want to move over there, because I'm tired of my life here. I want to change my job, change my relationships. So how are the people over there? Because I hear it's better over there. Wise man says, well, lesson number one is that wherever you go, there you are. That you take it with you. That the people over there really aren't different to the people over here. But you'll only discover it once you get there. I get it, says the traveler. Now what do I do? Well, you travel 3 days and 3 nights yonder. Down in the valley, you will find the second wise man. Travels 3 days, 3 nights, finds the second wise man standing waist deep in a river. Wades down into the river, stands next to him. The wise man reaches out, takes him behind the scruff of the neck, pushes his head under the water. Finally, at just the right moment, the wise man picks him up out of the water, gasping for air. The wise man says to him, what did you seek? He says, I seeked air. Wise man thinks he hasn't learned the lesson, wants to push his head under the water again. The traveler says, wait, I get it. I seeked air with my whole soul and with all of my being. Wise man says, that's lesson number 2. When you want what you talk about wanting that much, you will find it, but not before. What do I do now, says the traveler? Well, you travel 3 days and 3 nights to the top of the mountain. There you will find the third wise man. Gives him a bundle of logs to carry to the top of the mountain. Gets there, there's the third wise man. What do you seek? I seek my enlightenment, he says. Wise man steps forward, takes the bundle of logs off his shoulder, puts it on the ground, says, how does that feel? Says, shoo, enlightened. It's lesson number 3, says the wise man. Put it down. I don't know what the chip on your shoulder is all about, and I don't know what load you're carrying, but like enough already. Get on with it. Do more, be more, and have more. And start now.